ओके, आवाज येतोय सर्वांना? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so in today's topic, we are going to see a little bit about DNA replication and cell cycle, right? So we will not go in detail, but we will try to cover the basic background before we proceed to actual DNA replication, right? So for DNA replication, I want to show you some animations first. So first animation is the cell cycle and mitosis.
Made 100 trillion cells, and yet we start life as a single cell. To grow, develop, and repair tissue damage, adult human contains an estimated 100 trillion cells, and yet we start life as a single cell. To grow, develop, and repair tissue damage, we rely.
Is animation sound visible, audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Human contains an estimated 100 trillion cells, and yet we start life as a single cell. To grow, develop, and repair tissue damage, we rely on cell division. In eukaryotic cells, this process is accomplished by a series of well-orchestrated steps called mitosis. Every day our bodies must produce millions of skin cells to replace those lost through normal activity. Each of these cells must have a complete complement of the genetic material. Prior to cell division, where the cell divides into two identical cells, the DNA needs to be replicated so that each daughter cell receives an exact copy. Following DNA replication, the chromosomes condense in the nucleus of the cell. DNA condenses by wrapping around cores of histone proteins, forming nucleosomes. This beads on a string structure is called chromatin. As a cell prepares to divide, chromatin coils up further, shortening and condensing the chromosome. The replicated chromosomes are called sister chromatids. The replication of DNA and the formation of sister chromatids is one part of the entire cell cycle. To prepare for cell division, the cell goes through interphase, which can be divided into three distinct phases. During G1 or GAP1 phase, all the organelles and cytoplasmic components, including the centrioles in animal cells, replicate. Then during S or synthesis phase, the DNA replicates. Finally, during G2 or GAP2 phase, all the enzymes needed to aid in the process of cell division are produced. Most eukaryotic cells spend a great deal of time in interphase, and a very short period of time actually dividing, a process called mitosis. The cell is now ready to go through mitosis, which consists of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. During prophase, the chromosomes condense and become visible, appearing as two sister chromatids held together at the centromere. The cytoskeleton disassembles as the spindle begins to form. In animal cells, centrioles play an important role in the distribution of the chromosomes in the dividing cell. The centrioles migrate to opposite poles, establishing a bridge of microtubules called the spindle apparatus, and the nuclear envelope breaks down. Towards the end of prophase, chromosomes attach, by proteins in their centromeres called kinetochores, to microtubules from each pole, moving the chromosomes toward the equator of the cell. During metaphase, all chromosomes are aligned at the equator of the cell, called the metaphase plate. Anaphase begins with the degradation of proteins that hold sister chromatids together, freeing individual chromosomes. The free chromosomes are then pulled by their kinetochores to opposite poles. At telophase, a cleavage furrow forms in the center of the cell. This indentation is made from a constricting belt of actin filaments surrounding the inside of the cell's circumference. Chromosomes cluster at opposite poles and begin decondensing as the nuclear envelope reforms around them. The spindle apparatus disassembles as the microtubules are broken down into tubulin monomers that can be used to form the cytoskeleton of the daughter cells. In animal cells, cytokinesis completes cell division by extending the cleavage furrow to completely separate the newly formed daughter cells. Since plant cell walls cannot be constricted by actin fibers, vesicles form an expanding membrane partition called the cell plate. Like animal cells, plant cells use cytokinesis to finish the division of the contents of the cytoplasm between the two identical daughter cells. During the cell cycle, certain checkpoints are encountered to make sure the process is occurring accurately. And if it is not, the cell cycle will stop at the checkpoint and correct, or possibly inhibit that cell from dividing. The first checkpoint is the G1S checkpoint and is considered the primary point at which the cell cycle continues or stops. External signals and growth factors can influence the cell cycle and affect the progress at or before this critical checkpoint. The G2M checkpoint allows cells that have successfully completed all three phases of interphase to begin mitosis. The last checkpoint is the spindle checkpoint, ensuring that all chromosomes have attached to the spindle in preparation for anaphase. Growth factors, the size of the cell, and the nutritional state of the cell are all contributing factors in cell cycle regulation, ensuring that only certain cells divide at appropriate times. Once all the checkpoints in interphase are cleared, mitosis can occur. From interphase to cytokinesis, the entire process of cell division can take on average 10 to 20 hours in a typical plant or animal cell. Depending on the nature and use of the cell, the process can happen at different frequencies as well. In humans, our skin cells have a high turnover rate due to wear and tear and go through mitosis very frequently, whereas other cells, such as adult neurons and muscle cells, rarely divide. The accuracy of mitosis, as well as the consistency of the checkpoints during interphase, ensure that most cells in a eukaryotic organism can produce identical copies of themselves. This process allows for growth and repair to prolong overall physiology as well as life itself.
Okay, okay, so that was about cell cycle, right? How cell cycle proceeds. Next things we have is something about DNA compaction, how DNA is packaged.
In this animation, we'll see the remarkable way our DNA is tightly packed up to fit into the nucleus of every cell. The process starts with assembly of a nucleosome, which is formed when 8 separate histone protein subunits attach to the DNA molecule. The combined tight loop of DNA and protein is the nucleosome. Multiple nucleosomes are coiled together, and these then stack on top of each other. The end result is a fiber of packed nucleosomes known as chromatin. This fiber, which at this point is condensed to a thickness of 30 nanometers, is then looped and further packaged using other proteins which are not shown here. This remarkable multiple folding allows 6 feet of DNA to fit into the nucleus of each cell in our body, an object so small that 10,000 nuclei could fit on the tip of a needle. The end result is that the DNA is tightly packed into the familiar structures we can see through a microscope, chromosomes. It is important to realize that chromosomes are not always present. They form only when cells are dividing. At other times, as we can see here at the end of cell division, our DNA becomes less highly organized.
Okay, so that was about cell cycle, how cell cycle proceeds, and how DNA compact itself, right? So these two things. So today's lecture, our lecture is on this topic only. So we are going to briefly touch the topic before we proceed to the DNA replication. So under DNA replication and cell cycle, so this is our topic. So our topic is the cell cycle and DNA replication today. In this topic, we are going to cover DNA replication introduction, then chromosome, what is chromosome, cell cycle and replication, and then DNA compaction. So this is a DNA replication process. Okay, so this one is a one strand of DNA, this one is another strand of DNA, two strands of DNA. So these are coiled around each other, right? One strand and second strand. Now we have one strand of DNA. We want two strands of DNA. How these two strands of DNA can be obtained? So in order to obtain the two strands of DNA, so from parent strand, if you want to obtain the daughter strands, one giving the total two strand, one DNA converting to the two DNA. So this is the one DNA, and after replication, we expect this is first DNA and this is second DNA. Okay, from this one we are expecting this one. So that is the process of replication. So during this process of replication, these are the different enzymes involved. Okay, so this helicase is involved, then topoisomerase is involved, primase is involved, DNA polymerase is involved, lagging replication complex is involved. So this is a lagging strand. On this one, so this is a lagging strand and one is a leading strand. Leading strand is there, lagging strand is there, the RNA primer is there, Okazaki fragments. So small fragments which are formed in the lagging strand, we are calling it as a Okazaki fragments. So this one is a RNA primer. So this one is RNA primer, and on this RNA primer the DNA can be synthesized with the help of the DNA polymerase in the lagging strand. Okay, under the leading strand we have this RNA primer, and on this RNA primer this leading strand. It is called as a leading strand because DNA is synthesized continuously. That is why it is called as a leading strand. And once DNA is uncoiled, many times this single stranded binding protein, they bind to this DNA here. So that is a single stranded binding protein. And this function of this primer is to make this RNA primer. Primase function is to make RNA primer. This DNA polymerase function is to add the deoxyribonucleotide on the as a complementary basis to the single-stranded DNA. DNA helicase function is to uncoil the DNA, and topoisomerase function is to reduce this supercoiling function, right? So that is the function of the DNA. So this is the overall process of the DNA replication. And why DNA replication is important? Because it is important in the cell cycle. Okay, so whenever cell cycle is there, so we want to if we want to divide one cell into two cells, this DNA has to replicate itself. Then only this next stages can happen, right? So in the DNA, whenever we talk about DNA, we talk about chromosomes. So chromosome is an organized package of DNA found in the nucleus of the cell. Okay, so it is found in the if this is a cell, in the central nucleus, this chromosome can be found. So different organisms have different number of chromosomes. Like in case of human, we have 23 pairs of the chromosome. Out of each, 22 pairs are autosomes. So these 22 pairs are autosomes, and one pair is a sex chromosome. That is, it contains X and Y or X and X. In case of males, it contains X and Y, and in case of female, the sex chromosome is XX. So each parent contributes one chromosome to each pair, so that offspring get the half of their chromosome from the mother and half from the father. So this one is a structure of the DNA, deoxyribonucleotide. So last lecture we have seen what is a DNA, deoxyribonucleotide. So this one is a DNA and it contains the base pairs, A, T, C, G base sequence, particular sequence it contains, and they are bonded to each other with the help of the hydrogen bond. So that is a DNA. So DNA is a very long molecule, if we don't compact it. So that's why we can keep our DNA in the chromosome in the compacted form. So this one is the single arm is the two arms chromatid. The chromosome contains two arms chromatids. Out of this short arm generally is called as a P arm, and of the chromatids, the long arm is called as a Q arm. At the end of the chromosome, we expect at this end telomere. Okay, so this telomere will be important again whenever we will see, we will come to the end of the replication. We will know that this telomere is important, that chromosome should have the telomere because of some telomere shortening, chromosome shortening phenomena. So it needs telomere. In the previous animation you saw, this centromere is important for separating two chromosomes. So that is a centromere. And at the end there is a telomere. So if this is a chromosome, so this is a telomere and this is a telomere. So this telomere is important. Whenever we see DNA replication, we will be seeing this telomere. Okay, so this one is a pair of sister chromatids. So this one is a one chromatids, two chromatids. So the pair of sister chromatids, they make up the chromosome. Basically, we say there is a chromosome. It contains the molecule of the DNA and the protein. Actually, around 50% of the chromosome are protein and 50% are this DNA molecule. So this is the structure of the chromosome. Single condensed chromosome. So we want to condense our chromosome because it is otherwise it will become very long structure. We want to keep it packaged, so that is the condensed chromosome. So chromatin contains DNA, protein, RNA, and if this is a cell, in this cell, this is a nucleus. So in this nucleus, these are the DNA molecule inside. So this is a structure of the cell. And the chromosome can be uncondensed or the condensed. So uncondensed molecules contain this DNA molecule wrapped around histone, and this histone can be wrapped further into this condensed right side structure chromatid. And this is a cell cycle page. In this cycle, we know that chromosome can be separated, and it can be visually in this cell cycle phase only you can see chromatid separation. So the structure of the how chromosome looks. So if you stain chromosome, the condensed chromosome looks like this chromatid structure. Okay, so one chromosome, two chromosome, three chromosome. Likewise, we have 22 chromosome, and 23rd can be either X or Y chromosome. So these are the structures of the chromosome. Then if you take the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, this is a yeast in which the number of chromosomes are 16. If you take this Drosophila melanogaster, it contains the 4 number of the chromosome. Canis familiaris, the dog, it contains the 39 number of the chromosomes. Human contain the 23. So that is the all chromosome in the pair. So that is a 23 pair of chromosome. So the haploid cell contain the N chromosome. So if you take haploid cell, that will be the 23. If you consider diploid, in case of diploid, that is a 46 number of the chromosomes. So in the diploid cell, you have on the first chromosome you have this chromosome, you have this chromosome, right? 2 chromosome, that is a diploid. So this was a haploid description, and this is a diploid description of the chromosome. So when we say that this 1 number chromosome is a diploid, it means it contains 1 and 2, and the first chromosome comes from mom, and second chromosome contains from the dad. So it is a combination of the chromosome in his daughter, or the daughter is a combination of the mom and dad's chromosome. So that is here. And if it is so these are the 23 pairs of the chromosome. Out of this sex chromosome, if it is X and X, then that will be the female, or if it is X and Y, then that child will be the male child. Chromosome, homologous chromosome. So these are the homologous chromosome. It has a locus. So locus is a particular position on the chromosome on which these alleles can be present. Alleles are the different version of the same gene. So if we have same gene, particular, for example, casein gene is there. So if this is the casein gene on this chromosome number 1, on counterpart of that chromosome, there is again casein 1 gene is there, but it may be a different version. So that is why we call it as a alleles haploid. N is equal to 23, 1 unique copy of each chromosome. So this one contain the N 1 copy, and diploid cells contain the 2 homologous chromosomes copy. So 2N, in case of diploid, there is a 2N, that is a total 46 chromosomes we have. If you count individually, and if you count in pairs, that is a half of that is a 23 pairs of chromosomes. So this is a cell cycle. And under the cell cycle, we have G1 phase. So this G1 phase, synthetic phase, G2 phase, then this mitosis phase. And once this mitosis phase completes, this cell will be divided into this component, this cell and this cell. So under the process of the cytokinesis. Then after the mitosis, cell can undergo in the quiescence phase, G0 phase. Means cell won't go in the further cycle, or it may again proceed to the G1 cell, G1 cycle, synthetic cycle, G2 cycle, M cycle. So likewise, it may be continuous, or it may undergo the quiescence phase. So this is a cell cycle. Diploid with the 2N chromosome. So diploid cell contain the 2N chromosome, but content is a 4C content. So this is a diploid cell content. The haploid contain the N chromosome and the 1C DNA content. So this one is a haploid cell. So this one is a sperm cell, and it contains the single cell diploid chromosome numbers, and total content is a 1C. No DNA replication is occurring. If the cell, this is a cell, our diploid cell, and no DNA replication occurring, then that is a 2N chromosome, and if there and total content is a 2C. If DNA is replicating, then what happens is that, so this one is the DNA of our cell, it gets duplicated. So if it is getting duplicated, this 2C number, it becomes the 4C DNA content. Okay, but the total chromosome number remains same, 2N. Chromatid versus chromosome. So this is a homologous chromosomes, DNA replications, and this after DNA replications, we can see the sister chromatids. So sister chromatids held together at this position, like this. Okay. cell cycle, it is a series of events that takes place in a cell as it grows and divides. Cells spend most of its time in what is called as an interphase. Okay, so interphase is the phase in which the cell will spend most of time and replicates its chromosome and prepare for cell division. Cell then leaves the interphase, undergoes the mitosis, and completes the cell division, and resulting daughter cell enter into the interphase and begins new round of cell. So basically this animation, under animation we also, one cell is there, it is undergoing this different phases, G1 phase, ES phase, G2 phase, then it can undergo mitosis phase. And basically during what happens during this cycle is that we have our DNA, it is basically replicated into the two copies, and two copies are equally distributed into the both daughter cells, and that is how we get two cells. Okay, so that is why we are touching a little bit the cell cycle, because basic topic our topic is a DNA replication. So where DNA replication is involved, you have one cell and you want to make more cell, then that is how you make this use of this DNA replication, right? So like our skin cells, they are continuously regenerating. Some skin cells are becoming dead. It means that they have to get replaced by the new cells. How these new cells are being generated? The previously this whatever skin cells is there, they will undergo the cell cycle, and they will make new skin cells, right? And this process is basically facilitated by the DNA replication, because DNA is the basic genomic element in our cell, which will help make RNA, protein, and maintain overall cell structures, right? So that is a cell cycle. Again, same, it contains G1 phase, interphase. So G1 phase, it contains G1 phase, ES phase, and during ES phase, these DNA replications occur. Okay, so if we anytime ask what is the phase during the cell cycle during which replication occurs, so that is a ES phase, synthetic phase. Synthetic phase is a phase during which this DNA get replicated. Then there will be the G2 phase. After the G2 phase, there will be the mitosis, and under the mitosis there are again phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. So basically, based on the what is the position of the chromosome, these different phases are there, right? So these are the phases of this one. So and this G1 phase, ES phase, and G2 phase together we are calling it as a interphase. That is why we are calling as most of time cells times is the spent during the interphase, because this is the phase during which DNA replicates and DNA cell prepare itself to get divided into the two daughter cells. So this is a cell cycle, mitosis. So around trillions of the cells are there in one humans, and this is a mitotic cell cycle. So one cell is divided into the two daughter cells, and mitotic cell cycle. Again, this same G1 synthetic G2 phase. So these are the mitotic phase. So sometimes what happens is that cell undergoes the G0 phase, and again it may enter into this G1 phase. So that is a mitotic cell cycle. And based on the what phase you are, you can see the chromosome number amount of this DNA. For example, during the G0 phase, number of chromosomes is 46. No sister chromatids are there. Amount of DNA is 2C. And this one is a initiation of replication can be seen here with the help of helicase. The phase, if cell is in the G1 phase, number of chromosomes are 46. Sister chromatids, no sister chromatids, amount of DNA is 2C. So this one is there, and these are the checkpoints. So during animation you saw there were the checkpoints. So this one is a G1 to ES checkpoint. And this basically during this phase, we can see here this helicase, DNA polymerase replicating. So these processes we have to study after the cell cycle. So it condenses. So this one is a sister chromatids. If it is uncondensed, it will look like this. During G2 phase, we have sister chromatids and we have 4C content. Why we have 2C content in the G1 phase and why we have 4C containing the G2 phase? Because in the G1 phase is a phase before the synthetic phase. So after synthetic only, this content become double. So that is why 2C become the 4C here. So that is the 4C. So again, so here it becomes the 4C in the synthetic phase. Okay, so that is there, and these are the stages of mitosis: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and the cytokinesis. And we saw in the animation under the metaphase, these are the mitotic microtubules shown in the purple color, centrioles, this reddish color. So this make the mitotic spindle, and they align the cell at the metaphase plate, basically in the metaphase. During the anaphase, these chromosomes are separated together. Okay, so in the metaphase, they are in the center. At anaphase, they get separated, and telophase, it gets again separated further, right? So cell pushes other out. So this one is a cytokinesis. So cytokinesis phase, YM phase, 2C chromosome content is there, and mitotic cell. So in the mitotic cell, we have cyclic dependent kinases is there, and cyclin is there. So mitotic phases are controlled by the these proteins, cyclin and CDK. Cell cycle based on the cell concentration of the cyclin, whether it is cyclin E, cyclin D, or cyclin A, or cyclin B. Based on these phases, we can determine whether cell is in the G1 phase, ES phase, G2 phase, or mitosis phase. So that is why we have drawn this protein against the concentration. So these are the protein on the x-axis, and this is the concentration on the y-axis. If protein E is more comparative to other proteins, then this cell is in the ES phase. Okay. And these are the checkpoints. So first point is checkpoints. Checkpoints means it may prevent the cell from going from one cell cycle to the other cell cycle. So G1 to ES checkpoint is this one, cell growth and damage. So if it occurs, then this checkpoint is activated. If DNA replication and DNA damage, here this checkpoint is between the G1 and EM. And this in the EM also there is a checkpoint where chromosome attachment to the mitotic spindle. So cell growth, cell cycle is basically a cell growth for survival. So DNA compaction. So next comes the DNA compaction. So we have the DNA haploid. The haploid human genomic DNA contains about 3 billion base pair. 3 billion base pair of the DNA packaged into the 23 chromosome. So how much is the 3 billion? 100 is like 20 on the 1, right? So that is 100, and billion is 10 raised to 9. So we have 1, and there are the 9 zeros in front of it. So that many base pairs we have. Okay. So because DNA is a double stranded, we call it as a base pair. Otherwise, we call it as a base. Okay. So this one is a 3 billion base pair is there, and they are compacted into these 23 pairs of the chromosomes. Total that makes total 6 billion base pairs of the DNA, and DNA is around 0.3 nanometer in log. If you calculate this DNA, 0.38 nanometer base pair length multiplied by this 6 billion base pair, so it will be around the 2 meter. One DNA, it will be around 2 meter for the cell, and it's estimated if you take the DNA of all human cells, if you join together this DNA, it will be around the 100 trillion meter of the DNA per human cell. So 100 trillion meter DNA is that like you can go from sun to the earth, right? You can go to the sun to earth. That's so much distance. If you take all human cells and if you join their DNA, the distance is more than earth to sun distance, right? So this much is DNA, but basically it is compacted in our cell. So that is a DNA compaction process. So DNA compaction, or we call it as a DNA packaging. So this one is our double-stranded DNA, and that the simplest chromatin is a double-stranded helical structure of the DNA. So this one is a one strand, second strand, and if you can see, it is a coil around each other. So that is a we call it as a helical structure of the DNA. Next, DNA is a complex with the histone to form the nucleosome. So this is the DNA and this is a histone. On this histone, this DNA is packaged. So on this histone, the DNA is packaged. So when nucleosome is there, it contains around 8 histone molecules, and each nucleosome contains the 8 histone protein around which the DNA wraps 1.65 times. So one histone molecules, you took 8 histone molecule in the one nucleosome. It is wrapped around the DNA 1.65 times. Chromosome consists of the nucleosome plus the H1 histone, and then we have nucleosome folds up to produce the 30 nanometer fiber. So this is a beads on the string. This is a structure also we call as a beads on the string. It compact into the this structure, fold into the 30 nanometer fiber, and again it folds on itself, and the diameter will be the like 300 nanometer. Again it will be folding on each other, and this will be compressed further into 250 nanometer fiber, and again this will compact tightly coiling, and it will form the chromosome. So basically when we say the chromosome is there, chromosome is basically the start with this DNA, then nucleosome beads on the string, 30 nanometer fiber, 300 nanometer fiber, 250 nanometer fiber, and then this again at the end it comes to the chromosome. So that is how the DNA is packaged. So that is why we call that around 2 meter DNA can be fitted into a single cell because of this DNA compaction process. So during DNA replication, this DNA compaction process is also important. Whenever like eukaryotic cells, they have to synthesize new piece of the DNA. So this DNA compaction process should not hamper its DNA replication. So this is there. So this nucleosome is there, 10 nanometer fiber, 30 nanometer fiber, and this is a nucleosome. So these are the histones. So inside these are the histone molecule, and this is how DNA wrap around. So we were telling that is DNA wrap around 1.7 times. So this DNA, it starts here, it wraps around 1.7 times around the cell, and these are the histones molecule in the duplex form, the 2H A, 2 H2B, H2A, H2B, H3, H4. These are the histone molecule, and this is a three-dimensional structure. Basically, the three-dimensional structure of the nucleosome. Histones are the family of the small positively charged protein. So when DNA has to compact, we need this positively charged protein, because DNA is a negatively charged. If we have to compact this negatively charged molecule, we need positively charged molecule. That's why these histones are positively charged: H1A, H1, H2A, H2B, H3, H4. It contains mainly lysine and arginine residue, which are important in this compaction process. So this 8 histone molecules is there, and this structure we call as a beads on the string structure. Beads on the string structure, histone octamer is there. So this is a histone octamer, and it is how it is packaged. So this is a beads on string structure, and this middle is a linker DNA, and this yellow is a nucleosomal DNA. And if you see this nucleosome structure itself decreases the linking number by 2, and it is relaxed by the topoisomerase, and it decreases the linking number by minus 1.2. So this is a DNA. Whenever it is replicating, again this histone may attach with this one. So these histones may attach again with this DNA molecule. Same here also, histone attachment. And origin of replication. So whenever we are going to study the DNA replication, we are going to see that where is the start site of this one, position of this nucleotides, right? So origin you can see here, nucleosome occupancy average over this region. You can detect this one, and there are the techniques for this one to detect this origin and this one. So this is a solenoidal DNA compaction structure. This is a zigzag. Solenoidal means this it goes like this, okay? And this is a zigzag structure. Zigzag means it goes like this, So that is a zigzag structure. So solenoidal structure, this linker DNA length is short, and the zigzag DNA, this is linker DNA is long. So this DNA, whenever you compact around the central proteinaceous axis. So this is a proteinaceous axis, and this is a 30 nanometer fiber of the DNA. So that is there. And whenever you want to see the DNA, where protein binds, okay. During the DNA replication, we are saying that it contains DNA helicase. Helicase, it contains topoisomerase, it contains DNA polymerase, it contains, or other DNA primase is contained. So how these proteins locations can be determined? So this is a technique, chromatin immunoprecipitation, in which we take G1 arrested cells, we treat it with a formaldehyde, and what happens is that this formaldehyde cross-links this DNA with the protein molecules. So this cross-linking happens, and once it cross-links, it gets attached with that protein somewhat tightly. So this is a DNA. So this line is a DNA, and these are the proteins get attached with them. Then with the help of a shearing, we are making it species, and with the immunoprecipitation, we are attaching antibodies to the particular protein, and we are precipitating this one. Okay, so based on this technique, these are the primer sets we can design, and based on this one, you can see whether protein is present on this one or not. Or if you do chip, one technique, you use the this microarray we give red and green fluorescence to these antibodies, and you can detect here the proteins present in that particular proteins, right? Here sequence is there, replicating timing here, also we can determine with the help of ORC and the chip method. Regulation of the eukaryotic replication. Each eukaryotic genome has to replicate only once per cell cycle. Firing more than once in the cell cycle, cell is a deleterious. Okay. So whenever we say DNA cell has to replicate, so the replication event should happen only once in the cell. Okay. So if something sometimes by mistake, if cell is replicating more than once particular genome portion, then that is lethal. For example, under the Down syndrome in the babies, sometimes chromosome 21 base pair is getting replicated extra. So XXY genome can be seen, which is deleterious, or it may cause many problems like mental problems or some physical problems also it may cause in the babies. So that is why the cell cycles DNA replication has to be exact. Helicase loading is occurring in the G1 phase, and helicase activation is basically occurring in the G1, ES phase mainly, and it may occur in the G2 and EM phase also. And these are the regulatory process of proteins of the cell cycle. Cyclic dependent kinase, CDK, CDK inhibitor, MCM2 proteins, once on the origin get phosphorylated and does not initiate the replication at the same origin. So whenever we will see this replication process, this MCM2 process of proteins, we will be seeing again. So once the replication means all proteins reassemble and disassemble. So this is a cell cycle. This is a CDK activity. The G1 phase CDK activity is low, and the ES and EM phase it is high. Load helicase, yes, here in the G1 phase, and under the ES and EM phase, no helicase loading occurs, and helicase loading does not occur in G1 phase, and ESM phase helicase occurs. So basically, we have seen the cell cycle, right? Under the cell cycle, why we are seeing cell cycle? Because we want to know whether at which point this helicase is loading, at which point is activating, right? And this at which point CDK activity low or high. So that we can see whenever this synthetic phase is activated, the CDK activity is high, no helicase loading, but helicase is activated. And based on this one is a replication bubble. Replication bubbles also we are going to see in this one. So that was about the short introduction to your topics of this one, right?